Hello students, welcome to first episode of periodic table and periodic properties. Here in this episode you will learn how to classify the elements, the various attempts for the classification of elements, the modern periodic table, its properties, its characteristics and much more. So to get the full benefit, watch the lecture till end. So let's start the lecture. So first we have to study why it is necessary to classify the elements. So you have studied the periodic table, you have seen the periods and groups. So first we just have to think why it is required to classify the elements, because we have so many elements and it is very difficult to study all the elements separately. So what we did, we just arranged the elements which have same property in a similar group. That makes our study easier. That is the reason we just classify the elements. So it is difficult to study the properties of all the elements separately. So all the elements have been divided into few groups in such a way that the elements in the same group have similar property. This is the reason for the periodic classification of element. That's why we classify the elements. So let's do various attempts to classify the element. Just have a general idea about Daubigner's trend. So what did Daubigner say? That he arranged the element in increasing order of their atomic masses, and he arranged the element in the group of three elements. That the group of three element is known as triads. Okay, so when he arranged the element in the group of three, what he found, that the atomic mass of the middle element is equal to the arithmetic mean of other two. For example, he made a triad lithium, sodium and potassium. So what he found, he arranged the element in increasing order of atomic mass and he formed a triad, and what he found, the atomic mass of the middle element is always equals to the arithmetic mean of other two. For example, if you want to find the atomic mass of sodium, then what he did, did the arithmetic mean of the other two. So the arithmetic, when he did the arithmetic mean of other two, he got what, how much? 23. So the arithmetic mean of middle one, middle elements, the atomic mass of the middle element is equal to the arithmetic mean of the other two. That was his statement. But he failed, as this method failed to arrange all the then element in the form of triad. Means he failed to arrange all the then known elements in the form of triad. That's why this classification, that was the drawback of this classification. Next is Newland law of octaves. What he said, when elements are arranged in increasing order of their atomic masses, again he said the elements are arranged in increasing order of their atomic masses, as said by the Daubigner. So when increasing order of their atomic masses, then he did not form a triad. What he said, the property of eighth element, whenever you can start from any one of the element, the property of the eighth element, if you just start, the property of the eighth element would be similar to the first one. That was his statement, that every eighth property, the properties of every eighth element would be similar to the First one, when elements are arranged in increasing order of their atomic masses. But also this method was failed because the new element that was discovered later on could not fit it in the Newland's law of octaves. That's why this law was discarded. So next comes Mendeleev's periodic law. The Mendeleev's periodic law states that the properties of the elements are the periodic function of their atomic masses. What does it mean? It means that when the elements are arranged in increasing order of their atomic mass, then he found that there is a repetition of their properties at regular interval. So there is a repetition of their property as regular interval. That is what he stated in his law. But this law was also discarded as he could not justify position of few elements and the position of the isotopes in the periodic table. Certain elements means like cobalt and nickel. The atomic mass of cobalt is 58.9, then the atomic mass of nickel is 58.7. So according to his law, nickel come first in the periodic table and then copper, but he placed the copper first then nickel, so he could not explain the reason for this. Also he could not justify the position of isotopes in the periodic table, as according to him, if the elements are placed in increasing order of their atomic masses, so he should give different slot for different isotopes in the periodic table. For example, if the hydrogen has 3 isotopes, so if they are arranged in increasing order of their atomic masses, then the hydrogen should place in the 3 slot, but he gave only 1 slot for all the isotopes. So that was the drawback of this law. Next is modern periodic law. It states that the physical and chemical properties of all the elements are the periodic function of their atomic numbers, not the atomic masses. So the main contributor for this law was Moseley, as he showed that the atomic number is more fundamental property of an element as compared to atomic mass, and this is the law on which our modern periodic table is based. So next is periodicity and cause of periodicity. What is periodicity and what is cause of periodicity? Periodicity is that property on which our modern periodic law is based. What was modern periodic law? That the physical and chemical properties are the periodic function of their atomic number. So this statement was stated on the basis of that elements, there is a repetition of properties after a fixed interval. What is periodicity? Periodicity is nothing but a repetition of the reoccurrence of the similar properties after regular interval. The words that I am underlining, that are the keywords that you have to mention in your answer. So the reoccurrence of the similar property after regular interval, that is what called the periodicity. So if these are the so many elements, so there is a repetition of this element, the properties of this element and this element, that repetition occur at regular interval. That is what called periodicity. the next is, what is the cause of periodicity? Why this repetition occur? If this element is lithium, next comes our sodium or next potassium. Why this repetition occur? This repetition occur because of the repetition of their similar electronic configuration in their valence electron. For example, this means that the lithium, if we just write the electronic configuration of lithium, that is 2,1, for sodium that is 2,8,1, for potassium it is 2,8,8,1. So there is a repetition of the similar electronic configuration of their atom in their valence shell. Means they have the same electron in their valence shell. That is the reason for the cause of periodicity. Periodic table. So what is periodic table? The arrangement of the elements according to their properties in a tabular form. This is called what? Periodic table. Periodic table is divided into periods and groups. In the modern periodic table, the horizontal rows of element called period. The horizontal rows of elements are called periods, and there are 7 periods in the periodic table that in due course of time we will study about the periods and groups in detail. So what are groups? The vertical columns in a periodic table are called groups, and there are 18 groups in a modern periodic table. So we should know that horizontal rows called period and the vertical column called group, and the number that also is required, 18 groups and 7 period. So let's start main feature of the modern periodic table. So whatever I have written that are very important for the examination point of view, that you just have to memorize. So anything in between here can ask. You need not to memorize the whole periodic table, but some of the elements, the name of the element, the sequence of element, that you need to memorize. So I will just tell you time to time that thing you just have to memorize. So what are groups? So groups, we did the vertical columns are called groups, and 18 groups are there, total 18 groups are there. So out of that we just study one by one all the 18 groups. So we will not study all the group in detail, but important for the examination point of view that I am going to tell you. So group 1. Group 1 are called alkali metals. So what are the members of group 1? The group 1 members are lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. So these are the elements of group 1. Better if you just memorize all the elements in the same sequence, so that would be good. Then it becomes easier for you to understand this chapter. Here is the first element of group 1. So we just write in that vertical form. So this is the first element, and that is last to come francium. Here the francium is the radioactive element. Out of that we will study the properties of all the elements of the groups in due course of time. First I am going to tell you only the names. So they are called alkali metal. Why they are called alkali metal? Because they form strong alkalis when dissolved in water. That's why they are called alkali metal. All the group 1 element except hydrogen, because hydrogen comes also under group 1, but the hydrogen is not called alkali metal. So if it is asked in exam the elements of group 1, so even if you include hydrogen also, but alkali metals, then hydrogen is not included. Okay, so group 1, so you have an idea about group 1, that group 1 is the elements of group 1 called alkali metals. Alkali metals. Alkali means why they are called alkali metals? Because they form strong alkalis with water. Next comes groups 2. They are called alkaline earth metal. They form less strong alkalis than group 1 elements, and the elements of this group starts from beryllium, then magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium and radium. So these are the elements of group 2, also called alkaline earth metal. So now we have studied about group 1 and group 2. Okay, group 1 and group 2 elements. So in group 1, next is group 3. Group 3 to group 12 elements are very special elements. They are called transition elements. They are called transition elements. Generally, in these elements, you will find that the outermost shell is incomplete. But here in these elements, two outermost shells are incomplete. That is the one of the characteristics, and that is called transition elements. Next, group 13 to group 17. Now we just have to study what are group 13. Group 13 elements are boron family. Group 14 elements called carbon family. This is nitrogen family. This is your oxygen family. Oxygen family also called chalcogens. Okay, so oxygen family or called chalcogens. Next, the important two groups, these two groups you just have to memorize all the elements of these two groups, and the last two groups. In between, it is not required to memorize all the elements. So group 17 and group 18. Group 17 is halogen. Halogen, they are called halogen meaning salt formers. Okay, because from these elements the salt is formed initially, so they are called salt former or halogen. These are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. So these are the elements of group 17 called halogen. Next is group 18. Group 18 also called zero group element. Definitely we will discuss their properties more in details, but here I am not telling you about their valence electron or valency. I am just giving you the rough idea about the elements of that group. They are called noble gas or inert gas. That you know that their outermost shell is complete, and their elements are the helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. So these are the elements of group 18. What is the speciality of these elements? These elements are unreactive as they have their outermost shells are complete. So they are generally non-reactive. So if you see group 1, group 2 and then group 13 to group 17. So if I just ask about their valence electron, so group 1, the valence electron is 1. Group 2, the valence electron is 2. Group 13, then comes to group 13. Group 13, valence electron 3. Group 14, valence electron is 4. Group 15, valence electron is 5. Group 16, valence electron 6. Group 17, valence electron is 7. So you will see group 1, group 2 and group 13 to group 17. So here you will see their valence electron meaning the electron present in the outermost shell. So they have valence electron 1 till 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they have 1 till 7 valence electron in their outermost shell. So these groups called main group element or representative elements or normal element. Sometimes it is at what are normal element. The normal element group 1, group 2 and group 13 to group 17 called normal element or representative element or main group element, because their outermost shell is incomplete. Their only one outermost shell is incomplete, and they have electron 1, valence electron 1 till 7. Now I think you're able to classify the whole periodic table, that group 1, group 2, alkali and alkaline earth metal. All the elements of these group you should know. You have to memorize the elements, their elements, especially group 1 element, the last element francium. That is also the radioactive element. The last element of the periodic table is the last element of the group is the radioactive element. Okay, so group 1, group 2 and then group 13 to group 17 with valence electron 3 to 7, and they together called representative elements. They together called representative element. Group 18 the noble gas, and the group 3 to group 12 they are transition element. They are transition element. I will tell you about their metallic property, their how their valency will change, their metallic property, their basic character, their acidic character. So these property just we will discuss in due course of time or in the next episode. So here on you just have to learn about the basic outlining of the groups, that what the groups include. So if I just tell you about the halogen family, so you should know about that these are the salt formers, and they are also called the salt formers, and the elements are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. At least these four elements, these elements you should know, because without memorizing these things you are not able to understand their property. Whenever in due course of time, when I ask you about their electronegativity, electro affinity or the more other terms, then you will not able to find that which element have greater atomic size or greater electronegative if you don't know their masses, or if you don't know how to write in increasing order in their respective group. That's why at least the four groups that I have mentioned, the elements of four groups, that you need to memorize. So next the two elements are the lanthanides and actinides. So the lanthanides are the group of rare elements and actinides are the groups of radioactive elements. So lanthanoids belongs to group 3 period 6 and actinides belongs to group 3 period 7. But you will not see these in the main part of the periodic table, main body of the periodic table, as they are large in number. Actinides, lanthanides are large in number. So if they put in the main body of the periodic table, then its shape get distorted. So they are just placed at the bottom of the periodic table. So sometime in exam it is asked that lanthanide belongs to which group or which period, or actinide belongs to which period, which groups and which periods. Next is periods. So there are 7 periods. These are horizontal rows. Just like the groups are vertical column, periods are the horizontal rows in the periodic table. So here you should know that in first period how many elements are there in first period. Even only the 2 elements are present in the first period, so you can also memorize the name of the 2 elements. The first is hydrogen and the second is helium. So these are the 2 elements that present in first period. Okay, the second period is 8 element, Third period contain also 8 elements. The fourth period, fifth period, 18 elements. Total elements, the number of element, and sixth, seventh period, 32 elements in the periodic table. So if it is called the shortest period, so first period is the shortest period, short period. Second and third period is the short period. This is the shortest, this is the short period. Okay, these two are called long periods. Okay, and this is called longest period, shortest period, longest period. Okay, so these kind of things also sometime asked in form of any questions, so that you need to memorize. The next is shell and valence electron. These two important things, you should know the meaning of these two things. What is shell? Shell, the circular path around the nucleus in which the electron revolves, that is shell or orbit. Okay. And valence electron means the number of electron present in the outermost shell. So suppose this is a nucleus and these are the circular orbits in which the electron revolves. These are the circular orbit in which the electron revolves. So on the basis of number of shell, we can predict the periods of with which period then an element belong. The number of shell gives you idea about the periods. Okay, number of shell, and the number of electron in the valence shell, same number of electron or the number of electron in the valence shell gives you idea about the group with which then element belongs. For example, I just took the sodium. So sodium, I know its atomic number is 19. So its electronic configuration is 2881. Its electronic configuration is 2881. So just count the number of shell. Number of shell, count. It is 4. Number of shell, 4. And the valence electron. What is its valence electron? Valence electrons means the electron present in the outermost shell. So this is its outermost shell. The valence electron present in the outermost shell is 1. So the number of shell gives you the period with which it belongs, and the valence electron, the number of valence electron gives you idea about which group it belongs. So sodium belongs to group 1 and 4th period, first group and 4th period. This way you can find the period and the group of any element. For example, suppose if it is, but for the alkali and alkaline metal, the number of valence electron and the number of group is same for alkali and alkaline metal. For group 13 to group 18, you have to add 10 plus the number of valence electron. That is also the important thing. Okay, so for alkali and alkaline metal. For example, I have taken the example for sodium. So sodium, the number of shell gives you period, the number of electron gives you, the number of electron in the outermost shell gives you about the group. Okay. Now for calcium, or suppose if I take for the calcium, so the calcium, it is 2881. Okay, sorry, 2882. So the number of shell, the number of shell is 4. So the period is 4. Okay, and the group, it belongs to outermost shell, number of electron present in outermost shell. So fourth fourth period and second group. It belongs to fourth period and second group. Similarly, you can do for other also, for calcium, for magnesium. Magnesium, the configuration is 282. For configuration is 282, so number of shell is 3, so it belongs to third period and it belongs to second group, outermost shell electron. But suppose it comes for chlorine. Chlorine, the configuration is 287. So same way, the number of shell gives you period. So period would be like same 1, 2, 3. So it belongs to third period. For group, if it is not alkali or alkaline metal, if it is alkali or alkaline metal, then you just have to write the same number. But if it is number from group 13 to group 18, then you have to 10 plus this. So it belongs to 17th group and third period. So here we did some basics from the chapter periodic table and periodic properties. In the next session, we will see the periodic properties one by one in details. So keep practicing.